get our start?
Where did we get our start?
What's our origin? What's your music background?
We're starting at the...
I don't think I ever asked you that. What
We're
is
starting at the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by music background?
Like each of our music backgrounds, and then we'll say how we met or something.
My dad has been doing music since the fucking 70s, 80s, whatever. He was born in 1969, so he's been doing music for a long ass time. Fast forward.
What a bar.
He was doing recording for people around like the city that I was born in, which is Worcester, Massachusetts. Recording different talent, producing albums for people and engineering for people and shit like that. But this is like before niggas were using computers to even make music.
Ignore it, people.
It's a FaceTime video.
Ignore it, it's still going.
Yeah, but I don't even know the number.
I do.
That's your phone?
Yeah, that's dumbass nigga. Oh, my
Oh,
God,
shit. Alright. Fast forward. He's recording. My brother went from when he's like 8 years old, I think he started doing that shit, up until my brother started recording himself and producing for himself and all that shit. So I just was around it the whole time, to the point of when he was in the studio, when I was a baby, because I was such a daddy's boy, I would be banging on the door until he let me in, so he would have to hold me while he was like engineering for people and recording people. So I've legit been around in studios and around this shit my whole life. Only thing that really, or only environment, I guess, that I've always understood to an extent how to conduct yourself in and all that shit. Even before with us like making Intoxicated, because I just had the prior knowledge, I already knew like what to do in certain situations.
Don't plug Intoxicated.
Why the fuck not?
I don't want people to listen to that shit.
Nigga, you said Origins. That's what we're gonna do. The fuck are you talking about? You can't poke holes in the story, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
No, the fuck you can't.
It was a fever
Intoxicated for the win.
No, hell no.
Anyway. So yeah, I mean, I had phases where I was like rapping and shit like that, but I never tried to make it beat until I was 18. Bought my first laptop. My dad got me a bootleg version, or like a cracked version of FL Studio, and then made my first little shit in that.
What is a bootleg version of
Cracked version, it just means like you didn't pay for it, so after a certain amount of minutes or how many tracks you want to add, that shit will shut down and you'll lose everything you made. Yeah, jailbroken as fuck. To the point of you can't even save shit in it, so you're just making ideas. If you want to save it, you got to record the video of it on your fucking phone camera type shit if you want to hear it. Yeah, once I bought my first MacBook, I got GarageBand and I started making beats in GarageBand. Well, Logic, as you know. And then...
Wait, Logic and GarageBand are the same thing?
Yeah, Logic Pro and GarageBand. Logic is just like the more full version of GarageBand. It has more shit in it, more sounds, more stuff you can do, more shortcuts. And then I got my machine, started doing sample work, working with vinyls and shit like that, because that's the type of production that I was listening to at the time. So learning how to chop samples in vinyl, and then I got into Ableton, started making some shit in Ableton, combining the knowledge that I had from all the prior experiences, all that shit.
How long were you working on Ableton before we met?
Before we met?
Yeah.
That was my first year in Ableton. So I had only been working in it probably for like 9 months.
Well, not met. Before we
Yeah, I want to say like 8-9 months I was in Ableton. Because when we moved into that house, I switched over to Ableton like that same month we moved in that house. I finally bought it. So that shit, it was like $700.
Okay, fun fact. Me and Julius went to elementary school together.
Yep.
And I didn't like this bitch ass nigga.
Yeah, you know, they never like a pretty nigga. It just is what it is. Niggas be hating. That's all that was.
Anywho, what's it? Then you moved right back to...
So yeah, after elementary school, I moved back to Massachusetts for a few years. Then I lived in Georgia, and then I moved back up here in 10th grade when I was 15. In 2012, y'all were watching Eric Andre. And I came in on some like, letting these niggas know what was currently happening in my life type shit.
And then I was like, where'd you go? Where did I know you from?
Yeah.
No, the crazy thing is I always connect faces with eras. Like, I'd be like, no, not middle school, not high school. Nigga, you went to elementary with me? And it was just the fact that people were like, how do you remember somebody from elementary? But I feel like everybody be doing that. And then you be curious on what they have going on in life now. Like,
2 girls from elementary school that I for sure was I'm wondering what they got going on.
That sounds
Some of them I got on
wild.
Facebook, and I already see they got kids and shit.
All right, fuck your musical start. Mine is, I was raised by my grandparents. They were listening to old ass shit like Sam Cooke and all them niggas. My grandpa's favorite artist was Sam Cooke, so I was listening to Sam Cooke. And then I would go to school telling people what song I would listen to, and they would make fun of me because I would say Sam Cooke, and they had no idea who he was. And I loved the music, but then they made me hate it because I wasn't up on the 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot. I remember I hated that song because so I would always listen to that. I guess that's where musical theory came for me. I never was in choir because, like I said, I cared way too much what people thought back then. Like,
In middle school?
yes, bro, way too much. Like, oh, singing is dumb, singing is blah blah blah, and I used to be so offended. So nobody knew I could sing.
Damn, because you were like, yeah, singing is whack.
I hate,
Yeah.
I hate that.
That's
And then I
crazy.
discovered Chris Brown. First song I heard by Chris Brown wasn't even Yo. It was Take You Down. I discovered that song, and the girls would listen
shit.
to it, and I matched pitch to it. And this girl told me, she was like, "Damn, you could sing." I was like, "Can I?" And I thought it was biased because she already liked me, so I didn't really take it for anything. And then I started listening to like his whole discography. So Chris Brown became my favorite artist of all time, based on me diving deep into his discography just because one girl told me I could sing and she knew the song. So then I started listening to other people that sound similar. Grenade by Bruno Mars was around and popular then. And fucking who else? Somebody else. I want to say Trey Songz or something like that. So I started listening to it. Then the whole Drake era happened, and I was heavy into his singing era. Then I got off listening to Drake. So all of my musical knowledge, I had to go dive deep into it because I didn't have access to it until I got to school or until I went to my cousin's house and shit like that. And then when I got home, my grandparents were like super religious. So
Oh, shit.
yeah, it's always the choir, the fucking church boys and shit like that that can't listen to that shit. And then I found out Tank was a church guy, like into choir and all that shit. So I started listening to him, and I was like, this shit is not church music. That nigga was talking about fucking. I was like, oh shit, I like this. And he grew up in the church, all this shit. So I thought it was just ironic. And then in high school, I got discovered by some. Do I plug niggas in this? Oh. I got discovered by an established producer. That's what I was saying. And then I didn't personally record myself. I went to a friend's uncle's studio spot, all that shit. And he heard me on one of the tracks that we recorded in there. He asked me, or he reached out to me, and my grandma had the phone at the time. And she answered it, and she was like, I think this is a scam. Some music dude's calling you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, give him my number, it's fine, blah, blah, blah. Thinking it was fake too. And then he called, and I was like, he was like, blah, 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 I want to meet you, I want to blah, blah, blah. Let's work something out. Do you do music? I was like, no, I just like do it for fun, but I'm a boxer, because I was boxing at the time, and I was taking boxing serious. And he was like, oh, you care if I swing by just to have a quick meeting, blah, blah, blah. I was like, sure. And he was like, where are you? Where are you located? I was like, Grand Rapids. He said, where's that? So I was like, oh, this is scam for real. This is some nigga in Africa or something that I don't know where Grand Rapids. Because to me, I'm like Grand Rapids, like, duh, it's in Michigan.
Niggas start asking your social security information.
Yeah, I was like, how much is this gonna cost? Blah blah blah. He's like, nothing. I'm gonna come to you. Blah blah blah. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna either get kidnapped or I think I was like,
Kidnapped and sold.
I was like 18 at the time, some dumb shit. 18, 19, one of those. And then I was sitting there at work all day. I told him to meet me at my job because I told him Grand Rapids was near Detroit, and he was like, oh, I know where Detroit is. So it's 2.5 hours from there. He was like, all right, well, send me your where to meet you, and we'll plan a day. And I planned it. Sitting there all day, like, you know, when you're like, hoping something's real, and then you don't want to get let down, so you try to act like you don't care. Like, yeah, I don't care if this shit, blah, blah, blah. And I act like I knew who he was, and then I looked him up while being on the phone with him. And then I was like, oh shit, this nigga worked with my favorite artist, what the fuck? And I was like, why don't I know who he is? If I know this song, I know this song, I know this, why don't I know who it is? So it got to a point where I was like studying him the night before, the morning of, keep refreshing the page to see what he looks like currently and shit. So if he just walks in and shit. And then I'm at work, and I worked a full day shift, and I'm like, towards the end of the night, I was like, yeah, this nigga's not coming. And then all of a sudden I'm in the back, and somebody came up to me, and they was like, HB, I think your dad's here to see you. I was like, what the fuck is my dad doing here? I walk out there, and this nigga, I was like, oh shit, it's this. They thought it was they're so racist. They thought it was my dad because it was a 6 foot something black dude. I was like, what the fuck? And I would go out there, I was all nervous and shit, shaking like a fucking fangirl or some shit. And I went out there, and we were sitting out there talking, and he was just telling me like his origin, people he's worked with, gave me the whole spiel, blah blah. And he was like, have you ever auditioned? Have you ever like had a meeting or anything before? I was like, no, this is my first one, so I didn't really take it serious. I'm like, this shit only happens in movies and all that. So he was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I need your information and everything. I'm gonna fly you out, and you're gonna audition in front of blah blah blah. I'm like, no fucking way. I'm thinking, I was like, how much is this gonna cost? I mean, because at this point when he came and meet me and everything, I was like, okay, whatever it's gonna cost, I'll put the money together, all this shit. He's like, no, all expenses paid. Just send me your ID and your shit so I can book your flight, and then we'll pick you up from there. So the 2 weeks after that, I flew out to Baltimore, and when I got there, that's when he picked me up and everything, and he gave me the whole celebrity treatment, I guess, or like the bells and whistles, showed you everything that you wanted to. We went to a strip club. That was my first time ever being to a strip club. We went to a comedy club right after. We got to meet the comic, all that shit. We were hanging out with niggas that were big in that town. Like one of the guys we were hanging out with plays for the Orioles. The other people were people in the industry too. So I just thought it was cool. And I just thought one thing was funny as fuck. Everybody was talking about wanting food, so we would stop at any place on the way that niggas wanted food from. Like, I was like thinking we just had one choice. He was like, what do you want? I was like, oh, I'll grab whatever from wherever. And they was like, no, just tell me what you want. I was like, I don't know, Chick-fil-A or something. He was like, nigga, you just came to a new state and you talking about Chick-fil-A, something common. I was like, I don't know, just get anything. So niggas were stopping at, I think Noodles and Company. I've never been there prior to that. I want to say there was like something we don't have here. I want to say it's like a Jack in the Box or some shit like that. Something we don't have here. I don't remember, but
Bojangles?
Maybe.
Bojangles, Hardee's.
We got Hardee's here. I don't know, but we stopped at places. I was like, I don't even know what to order because I didn't want to look dumb in front of them.
Zaxby's.
Maybe it was Zaxby's, or I'm thinking of, I don't know. But anyway, I just thought that was weird, and that's a core memory for whatever reason that these niggas stopped at every place. There was so much fast food bags in the, like, it looked like we were Uber eating and shit like that. Like, but then I was there for 3 days. So the first day they were just showing me around, got me booked in the hotel, all that shit, got me comfortable, took me out, all that shit. And then the second day was the meeting with the A&Rs and the reps and shit. And there was 4 label heads there. So I sang Candles in the Sun by Miguel, a cappella. And my shaky ass, scary ass thought I butchered it, but apparently I did good. Niggas were sitting there. And just without the reassurance that you did good, you're just sitting in there like, these niggas did not react. Like, I don't know if I was expecting a standing ovation or what, but I was like, damn, I picked the wrong song, damn, blah, blah. And I get back to the hotel, and I get a text from him, and he was like, bro, you killed it, you did phenomenal, blah, blah, blah. They want to meet with you again before we leave. You don't got to sign nothing right away, but I want you to be open-minded to whatever they're saying and sit there and listen. And he was like, good shit out there, blah, blah. They went out drinking and shit, and I don't drink now, but at the time I definitely didn't drink. And I didn't want to look a fool trying to act like something I wasn't for the first time. So I was like, I'll just stay at the hotel. So I'm sitting there talking on my FaceTime with people back here, like telling them about it and the experience. I called my dad too. I was sitting there telling them about shit. And then I fly back. I ended up signing a deal without consulting anybody, without talking to like lawyers or my dad or anything, and then found out that they damn near would have swindled me if I stayed on the deal. So I had a certain amount of time to opt out of it. So I opted out of it, and then the guy was upset that I opted out of it, and like he thought it was all for nothing that he brought me out there and everything. So kind of lost contact with him, and I just recently this year hit him back up, and he that's when he told us to send those songs to that producer. But yeah, so now we do music together. We did Intoxicated that you already plugged, and I hate that fucking.
The first project that we ever did together, Intoxicated,
It was terrible.
fully produced by me. Not terrible because
Fully produced by you?
yes, I made every beat.
I mean, yeah, okay, but not engineered.
Executive
Don't say
executive
fully
produced
produced
by me.
because then they're gonna think you're the reason that all this shit is
No, I mean I made every beat, so it was executive produced by me.
produced. Means
We're not gonna plug the engineer at all, but it wasn't mixed well. And let's talk about that.
through three. No,
Yeah,
Three?
three engineers. It was the one that we used to work with, the one that what's your man's did a track with, that had a video.
Oh, three. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, three.
Okay, I forgot about him. But yeah, that shit was the most frustrating thing ever. You know, when you have an idea, you have the project, you have everything ready to go, blah blah. It's just missing that fine tuning, and we could not find the fine tuning.
We still didn't really find it.
We
just
didn't, but
settled.
we settled, and that's why I hate that project. But at the same time, when we had the option of deleting it and taking it off after we actually start putting out actual produced and good quality music, I said leave it on there because I want people to see the growth, which is contradictory to me saying I didn't want to talk about it, but
Yeah, people are gonna find it regardless.
we kept it because I wanted people to see the growth.
I don't like it because there's one track on there that this nigga completely butchered mix-wise in terms of he didn't place the right shit in the right place for the track. So in my eyes, it's completely butchered. Like he put the sample in the wrong place, so the entire beat does not sound right. It just samples out of place, so it sounds out of place. The shit don't sound right.
Yeah, so that's the origin. How we do music. I'm a little singer boy. A little rapper boy. Oh, I had to convince this nigga to rap.
Yeah, well, I
Something
had
bullshit I did.
to find the. I feel like
I feel
rap
like whatever you're about to say is inaccurate.
now can't nobody fuck with me. But I always knew that. It's one of them things where like I never stopped rapping in my head. Like I almost think that way. I'll freestyle some shit, or if a situation happens, I'll be like, I can say it like this. But I just never wrote anything down, and I still don't write shit down unless I'm about to record.
That's facts.
But I'm always rapping.
What's your inspiration when you write? What's your writing process? Start with inspiration, and then go to like your style or your process.
So like whatever I'm saying, being not saying like, oh, it has to be legit on some like street shit, but just more so like it being true to myself. So saying some shit that actually makes sense to me, because when I'm rapping it and it's not something that's real, I can't say it with confidence if I know it's not real. So that's one big thing. Inspiration, what inspires me to write the way that I do and rap the way that I do is, I guess, the nonchalant side of myself. And just like, you know. What do you mean? What was that? No, for real.
I'm like,
When I rap, it's coming from a place of like when I'm listening, or like that's why and that's another thing. When we be recording certain songs, I don't be coming off nonchalant like how I want to, and that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to achieve. With my solo music, you'll just hear the difference. It's a much more nonchalant vibe. Like I'm rapping kind of like I have a 40 in my hand and I don't give a fuck about what's going on around me.
a 40 as in a weapon or a 40 as in a drink?
A drink. If I had a 40 in my hand and I'm rapping, I
like,
got ops, which means I can't be calm. Nonchalant, like I'm wearing slides. So you can't take what I'm saying that seriously.
So some Larry June shit.
No. Larry June is like laid back, you're cruising in a fucking drop top with the seat all the way back. Drinking smoothies. That's his aesthetic. That's not mine.
I guess mine is. First off, I can't sing to a beat. I have to turn the beat up. Like all of my lyrics, all of them. I write.
I can't rap a cappella unless I'm drunk.
Yeah, I noticed that. I write.
What do you mean?
You usually beat a beat.
Well, yeah, I can't. What I'm writing, I need the beat so I can hear how it sounds because it's a flow thing. If I have like that's okay. How I write. How do we? Let's do that. How do you write?
In what sense?
Like, I write. The beat has to be playing, and
mine just pops in my head. I'll be working. I'll literally
lines
be
pop in my head, but a whole scheme. The beat has to be playing, and I got to be like, okay, this is how I want the flow to sound, and then I'll fill in the flow with like whatever the words are gonna be.
Mine is something will pop in my head, and I'll stop if it's worth stopping, and then I'll try to build something around whatever popped in my head. But I guess my inspiration always, for whatever reason it's going to be, has been women, which is a gift and a curse. It's a gift because how easily I can write shit from a real place based on experiences and based on the shit that I'm writing about. And then it's a curse because every girl thinks they get a song. And that shit is annoying. I'm like, bro, I don't just sit there and like, oh, but like every girl, but you made one about her. Who is this about? Oh my god, when bitches listen to my songs, it's like, who is this about? That is the worst. Like you don't want the answer because I'll tell you who it's about.
That's more annoying because it takes away from like, all right, what do you think about the song you just listened to? Why do you care about who
they
it's
got
about?
hung up on why do you keep saying this about her?
Yeah,
no,
that would
like nigga, I wrote this before I even knew you existed.
That would kill
this
my
is
that would kill my
But anyway, and then when they know it's about them, they'll go tell people it's about them. They'll tell the story behind it. They'll manipulate it to the fact of people hitting me up like, bro, this girl said that this song's about her, blah, blah, blah. And if it is, then it is. But if it's not, and then they'll have a whole different reason on why I wrote it. I could have just wrote it just because you were sitting in the car and I'm just looking over and you're the girl I'm sitting next to at the time. But they take that shit like, yeah, it's coming from a real place. Yeah, it's real inspiration and all that shit, but it's not. You're not the reason I write music. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like that's a lot of credit to give yourself as a person that somebody's just fucking.
Yeah.
Like, to think that if I was doing this shit before you, what makes you think that you are the catalyst for anything?
And everyone thinks they get a song. They're like, oh, but you have so many about something. All of my music is about women. I don't think I have a song out that's not about
like
women.
that though. It don't matter.
Do I?
No, but I feel like parts of songs could be about different people too. Like, it don't always gotta be like.
No, not mine.
At least for
mine
me,
is story.
I'm not an end all be all type of person.
No, mine is story based. So like that specific song is about the same person the whole song. Time is about somebody. Talk to Me is about somebody. And there are real instances. Like the chorus is, I know you feel the way about how you talk to me, looking on my Instagram every day, why you be stalking me instead of calling me, because I was stuck in the spot of, why are you just watching my Instagram, why are you watching what I'm doing, if you could just call me. Like, it was weird. Like, I don't understand that shit. And that turned into a full, okay, I'm gonna tell the story behind why I'm saying this other shit. Like, my storytelling in music comes from the shit, the cliche shit that all artists say, like real life experience, but it's true. Like,
if I'm making a rap song, and the song is like focused on like a concept, I could see myself doing 2 verses, but your second verse has to be harder, or if not as good as your first verse, which a lot of people lose their inspiration after the first 16 bars. And that's another thing, y'all niggas don't be tapping into your fucking what you call that? What's the Super Saiyan shit? Y'all niggas don't be tapping into it. Yeah, y'all don't be tapping into that shit. Niggas don't be tapping into their Super Saiyan Ultra Instinct when it comes down to fucking writing more than 16 bars. Certain niggas will have 16 bars and then the first 4 will be hard, and then you can tell that they're just trying to like fill lines, or like the last 4 will be filler, and it's like, why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you doing that to yourself? Because every verse, you gotta think about it like this, if every verse starts off hard, why can't you just make it hard the whole way through? Hey, follow me on IG at Hidden Jewels. There's no E in hidden. We need a smoke break, intermission. We can still talk though, because I have my mic hooked. I wonder if they'll be able to see me. It kind of looks dope like this. It looks fake.
Fake as in
like the background of us moving. You know how like people do that in music videos, and
Oh, yeah.
they're just in a green
in a
screen.
green screen.
Yeah, it's because of the cinematic. We gotta go to that other spot too.
We'll come back.
I said the drive because if you think about what we talked about the podcast is gonna be, it's like our reason for wanting to succeed in the music industry. Or not even, I won't even necessarily,
It's motivation.
yeah, motivation too. Like, okay.
Yeah, all y'all niggas are is motivation for us. So don't get
That-
too flattered. We're not podcasters.
That was
We're not podcasters.
Wait, that was
nigga.
not a flex.
No, I'm just letting y'all know. Look, you're not the motivation for the music. You're the motivation for the podcast is the motivation for us to continue doing the music shit. We're not podcasters. We're niggas that have a podcast that do music. We're musicians that have a podcast. There's a difference.
Oh, the drive. Oh, and we're in a car. We're gonna be in a car every time we do an episode.
Yeah, this is the car cast.
No, I thought that first before I said the drive. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was gonna say, should we call it the
car
cast?
cast?
Bullshit, you not. That's
Car cast would be dope on a hoodie though.
Tuesday.